Live from WSLS, this is 10 News at Noon, working for you.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Patrick McKee. We begin at noon with a breaking news alert. Roanoke police need your help finding two missing children who may have been taken by their mother. Police say 5-year-old Bailey Crumley and 4-year-old Gage Clinton were last seen at their grandmother's home on Ravenwood Avenue in the southwestern part of the city, but they were gone this morning. They are believed to be with their mother, Camille Crumley, and her girlfriend, Tanisha Mack. Crumley does not have legal custody of the children and is not allowed to have contact with them. She now faces charges of abduction and violation of court orders. Both Crumley and Mack have several active warrants unrelated to this incident. They're believed to be traveling north toward Indiana in a white 2018 GMC Sierra U-Haul pickup truck with Arizona license plate AH96145. If you have any information on where they might be or see them, you are asked to call 911. We are going to continue to follow the story for you and have updates throughout the day on WSLS.com. Firefighters are still trying to stop a brush fire in Roanoke County. Yesterday, the fire forced Catawba Valley Drive to close. It did reopen this morning. Today, fire crews say weather conditions are a little better, and they're hoping to keep it under control. 10 News reporter Allison Wickline is live near Catawba Mountain with new information on the firefight. Allison.
Day.
Come on.
Has become the staging area for first responders, and you can see behind me there is still a good bit of smoke that's coming out of the mountain. After a long day of firefighting yesterday, the Forest Service, along with local agencies, are back again today trying to stop this fire. According to Roanoke County Fire and EMS, at this hour, the fire is about 25% contained and is covering about 325 acres. The good news is that no structures are threatened right now and no one has been injured at this point. Catawba Valley Drive is back open after being closed yesterday, but for hikers are being asked to avoid this area because they are actually using the trail to McAfee's Knob to help contain the fire. Now you can see behind me, they do have a helicopter on standby today to do some checks, and if the fire does progress anymore, they may send it back up with water. Live in Roanoke County, Allison Wickline, 10 News, working for you.
Thank you, Allison. More tonight at 5 on that fire. Fire crews in North Carolina were called to a large fire at a church early this morning. Members of the church in Winston-Salem were close to the fire when the roof collapsed. The American Red Cross is helping a family who had their home suffer some damage. Members of the church could barely contain their emotions as they watched their place of worship burn in the darkness, but they're hoping that better times lie ahead.
Our church just burned down, and this is where we have all our prayer band meeting.
Yeah, the Winston-Salem prayer band.
And now we don't have no church to go to, but it's okay. God's gonna deliver us. In Jesus' name.
The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Happening now, a man is in court after being accused of killing a Pittsylvania County woman while driving under the influence. 54-year-old Everett Wilson is facing several charges, including aggravated involuntary manslaughter, DWI reckless driving, DWI with drugs, and nonviolent felon in possession of a gun. Officers say Wilson crashed into a woman on Mount Cross Road last year, killing her. Wilson's trial is expected to last all throughout the day. We're going to have the latest from court coming up tonight at 5 here on 10 News. A community is on alert after police say 2 people were shot in the head. It happened on 18th Street in Lynchburg on Saturday. Police say 33-year-old Andra Watson died. The other victim was a woman who has not been identified. She was flown to the hospital. The shootings left one person who lives nearby wondering if this community is the right place for him to call home.
It's just crazy. It's make me scared and I don't want to be here no more.
This is the second homicide in Lynchburg this month and the 4th of the year. 3 of the 4 homicides happened within a 6-block radius in the Diamond Hill neighborhood. Well, we're seeing sunshine outside for today, still dry conditions for us. Let's get over to Jonathan Kegas to see what's in store for us as we head into this afternoon. Jonathan, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Patrick. What you see is what you get, really, not only for today, but for the rest of the entire week ahead. Temperatures responding nicely after a very chilly start in the 30s and 40s. back to the 60s and 70s. Look at that. A lot of sunshine as we take a live look at Roanoke with our Carilion Skycam. Temperatures working their way through the 50s and 60s. Very pleasant outside. The winds still a little breezy at times. Later tonight, there's a big chunk of high pressure comes overhead. Those winds are going to go calm. That means another cool night coming our way. But tomorrow really starts a stretch of summer-like temperatures. No doubt the warmest stretch we've seen so far this year. We will talk much more about how warm we get and when temperatures could flirt with 90 degrees. 90, Patrick, coming up in a few minutes.
Looking forward to hearing about that. Thank you, Jonathan. Our Shred-a-thon events continue this afternoon in Roanoke. It's been a busy day at the Shoals on Ferncliff Avenue. That's where we find 10 News reporter Aaron Brookshire. Aaron, this is always our biggest event. How have these crowds been so far?
Well, once again today, it's been another huge event for us. You can see the cars rolling right through. They've been working hard to get people in, get them out, and get them moving. And I want to show you just how much we've collected so far in unwanted documents. You can see each of these Commonwealth document management trucks hold about 10,000 pounds of unwanted paper. And you can see in that little window right there just how small these documents are shredded up into. Now, these are documents we've been collecting all day, shredding them here on site. We had people starting to line up before 5 o'clock this morning, waiting for today's Shred-a-thon to get underway. From old medical bills to unwanted tax documents, we've seen almost everything at today's event, including documents that are more than 30 years old from a business back in the 1980s.
Papers from a business we had in the 1980s. Our basement is going to be so cool. I couldn't shred all this stuff at home with a teeny little shredder, so we're really happy about this. My husband even helped.
And there's plenty of time to get your documents together and bring them out here. Today's Shred-a-thon runs until 2 p.m., so lots of time left. If you are planning on coming out, here's what you need to know. The line is splitting up into 2 lines to keep things moving quickly. They're unloading your boxes right out of your truck, right out of your car, so you don't even have to get out, making things run as smoothly as possible. Coming up in just a little bit, we'll be checking in with the operations manager about just how much we've shredded so far and what we can expect for the rest of the day, Patrick.
Aaron Brookshire live for us in Roanoke. Thanks, Aaron. In news around Virginia, fewer Virginian teens are eligible to get behind the wheel. The Virginia Department of Motor Vehicles says there was a 55% drop in the number of teens getting a driver's license between 2000 and 2015. A spokesperson from AAA Tidewater believes teens don't seem as enthusiastic to get a learner's permit as soon as they're eligible. Some teens are putting off getting behind the wheel in some cases for more than a year. Virginians can now voice their opinions on 2 natural gas pipelines. You can state whether you believe water quality approvals granted for the pipelines are good enough to protect Virginia's waterways. The Department of Environmental Quality has opened up a comment period for the next 30 days. Critics say the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers review process was overly broad. They believe the DEQ should have done a stream-by-stream study. However, the department says the reviews are acceptable. Pipeline companies claim they've undergone a thorough and fair environmental review process. There's a completely different atmosphere surrounding North Korea this afternoon after Kim Jong-un vows to shut down his nation's nuclear test site. The North Korean leader is inviting the world to watch, which could lay the groundwork for President Trump's eventual meeting with that nation's leader in the next few weeks. Keir Simmons has more.
More head-spinning diplomacy in the works after Friday's stunning images. The leaders of North and South Korea stepping into the history books, shaking hands on both sides of the border. A high-level Chinese delegation is set to visit the North Korean capital this week for the first time in years. That meeting, perhaps not coincidentally, coming ahead of President Trump's planned sit-down with Kim Jong-un. Loudspeakers blasting propaganda into North Korea will be dismantled. And little more than 6 months since North Korea conducted its 6th nuclear test, Kim Jong-un now promising to close the nuclear test site within weeks, according to South Korea, inviting the world to watch. Critics say the site, buried beneath a mountain, has collapsed and is out of action, warning of past broken promises. And despite Friday's champagne celebrations, a joint statement did not explicitly refer to North Korea halting its nuclear activities. President Trump's new Secretary of State just returned from meeting Kim Jong-un. The president himself reveling in praise for progress in the Korean conflict. the crowd claiming he deserves the Nobel Prize.
That's very nice. Nobel.
This morning, North Korean TV announcing that Kim Jong-un has even promised to change North Korea's clocks to match South Korean time, the politics of the region changing at dizzying speed. Meanwhile, President Trump's new National Security Advisor, John Bolton, holding out the example of Libya's denuclearization. But his comments may underscore the challenges ahead, because in the years after Libya ended its nuclear program, the country's then leader, Gaddafi, was removed from power. History Kim Jong-un will be all too aware of. Back to you.
That was Keir Simmons reporting. New at noon, after a month-long journey, dozens of migrants from Central America make it to America's doorstep, despite warnings from U.S. Customs and Border Protection that the port of entry has reached capacity. President Trump is telling his Homeland Security Secretary not to let them in the country. Over the weekend, immigration lawyers told the group to expect the worst possible outcome if they try to come in. Right now, the migrants are camping on the Mexican side of the border, waiting for a chance to step foot in America. Jonathan's back with your forecast coming up next, but first, a live look over the Roanoke Valley where we're seeing lots of sunshine.